Evening, welcome to Chill Session with Rofhiwa. I've got my guest here, they will introduce themselves. Every Friday, we keep it this way, so this Friday we are now entering into the territory of the pharmacy, because this month is the pharmacy month, and then so I'm gonna allow my guests to introduce themselves, and then and they will give you a background about themselves, and then I'm gonna start here with my sister Amanda.
Good evening to all the viewers. My name is Amanda, and I am a community-based pharmacist at guys, sorry. I'm a community-based pharmacist at Northwest Potchefstroom Military Hospital, and today we'll be tackling a topic on your medications, your responsibility. So it's a pleasure to be here, and we feel honored to be here.
My brother, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rabelani. I am a pharmacist, a grade 1 pharmacist. I qualified at Secondary University, which is formerly known as NAB, and I am working for the Department of Health in the Northwest.
Okay, welcome, sir. Chill session, we wanna chill with you, tackle this hard topic and soft topic, and then today, while you are dealing with the medication, we wanna focus on the medication at home, your medical bag, the medical cabinet, those at home. Once you have a medication, from the time you receive it, it becomes your responsibility. So now, I got the expert, the pharmacists. They will tell you the do's and the don'ts, So let's look into these things. And by the way, welcome your engagement there, wherever you are, where you are watching. You can have your comment, your question, and then they will engage your questions. Yellow. So now I like selling. When I start, I wanna kick off by selling. So I'm gonna have my producer.
Need a photographer for an event? Then we've got you covered. At NAB Photography, we do all shoots, events, weddings, studio shoots, outdoors and indoor shoots, and many more. For more information, call or WhatsApp 078 104 2546. Follow or DM us on any social media platform at NAB Photography on Facebook, NAB_photography on Instagram, or email us on nabphoto@gmail.com. Join the NAB family, and we've got you covered.
Oh yes, join the NAB family and you're gonna be covered. They are good with their photos. Now, I'm gonna just jump into. I want to ask to warm up. I'm gonna first now have Rabelani there to tell me something. Before I get into the questions that I'm having, Rabelani, what can you tell me about this cabinet at home? What can you tell me? The importance of those cabinets.
Okay. What I can say about the medicine cabinet at home is just basically a cabinet or a smaller cupboard where a person decides to put their medicines, mostly acute illnesses or the most common illnesses that they are aware of. So it's basically just for them to go out in the pharmacies, to go to collect all those medicines, put them in there, so that in a case where they need to use them, they use them when necessary.
Okay. Now, Amanda, is it necessary to have these cabinets at home? Is it necessary, really?
Yes, I can say it is necessary to have this cabinet at home because this cabinet is there for in cases of emergencies. It is also necessary because it is a cabinet that allows you to put your medication safe inside, because the best way to store it is for it to have a lock. So it is the safest way that you can store your medication in your house. So yes, it is necessary to have this cabinet at your houses.
To both of you, which medication are important in this cabinet or the first aid kit? The one that me as a layman, I just have the clue, I don't have the better idea, but the one that maybe I must like concentrate and have at home. What are some of those common medications that people must have? Rabelani.
Okay. There isn't really a standard to specify which medicine could be part of the medicine cabinet, right? In most cases, it's where a person decides to what they actually need, based maybe on what normally presents in the family.
We lost your audio.
I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. So based on what present mostly in the family, anyone can just decide to get such medicine. But you can look at it in another way as well, to say there are obviously seasons in the year where obviously certain conditions are associated with such prevailing. So for example, when it's winter, your cold and flu, almost towards summer and spring, your sinuses and all of that. So just depending on what normally presents or what season it is, one can always buy such medicines to keep in the cupboard whenever necessary.
Amanda.
Also, when we're still on this issue of the cupboard, we're not saying you should go home and start building a cupboard for yourself. I mean, we don't want you to be spending a lot of money on building a cupboard. But what a medicine cupboard can be, you can just get a very safe storage box that you can lock and store it probably in your closet or somewhere where you feel it will be safer and out of reach of children. So what you can put in your medicine cupboard can also be your chronic medications. I feel like he elaborated on most of the medications that you need on your medicine cupboard, but your chronic medications can also be included because as we all know, when you grow older, most people, they forget where they put things, and we don't want a situation where you don't know where you put your medication and you end up not drinking your medication. So a medicine cupboard can also store chronic medications for the purpose of you not forgetting to look where your medications are. When you have your medication in the cupboard, then you know, I need to drink my medication at this specific time, and this is the specific place where I will find my medication.
All right. Now, very interesting, ne? I hope some of you, you're taking notes, of this information. One day it might come very handy. Usually we came across information, and at that point in time, we don't really think or that information is important. But later on, we realize, hey, that information was just everything to can save a life or to can be very useful. Now, another question that I'm having for you guys. It's me, I'm sick, I'm at home. I've got a brother who was sick last week, and then now, because he was coughing and I'm also coughing, can I just take the medication? This is thing of using somebody's medication. What, is it permissible, the do's and the don'ts? Let me start with you.
Okay, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
We normally joke in the pharmacy when a couple come to fetch medication. Probably when a husband and a wife, they work in the pharmacy to take their medication. And most of the things that commonly we notice is that most of them, they take the same medication or they are on the same treatment. And normally we'll joke about it and say when two people fall in love, they end up looking alike. So it's like when two people are falling in love, they're also taking the same medications. And it becomes a problem because most of them will ask them, why didn't you come and fetch your medications last week?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you that, no, my husband still had medications, so I drank my husband's medication. And that is very wrong. It's very wrong to drink someone's medication because when you don't come to the pharmacy to fetch medication, or when you don't come to the hospital to consult, we are unable to follow up on your records on how you're doing. So you are just assuming that because I'm in those medications, then I shouldn't go to the pharmacy to get checked, which is wrong. So drinking someone's medication is absolutely wrong. It's not acceptable. It's not an acceptable thing to do, considering the fact that most people who we give medications to, there are certain factors that we consider before we give them their medication, such as weight. You can't be taking someone's medication and hoping that you weigh the same weight as them, you understand? So the dosing will differ. And now because we gave you a medication written, take 1 tablet 3 times a day, you're just going to take 1 tablet 3 times a day. But actually your weight allows you to take half, or it allows you to even take double. Or now you end up, being the medication is now toxic on your system. So taking someone's medication is absolutely wrong. I wouldn't say you should do it. And I know in other countries it is actually a crime to take someone's medication. You cannot take someone's medication. It becomes a crime. You can go to jail for it in other countries. So it becomes that complicated. And it is also dangerous for your health.
Yeah.
Why can't you just go to the pharmacy and consult?
Yeah.
And it's also good because the doctors get to follow up on your condition and all that. So I would say taking someone's medication is a no.
Yeah. Rabela, your view on that, or did she exhaust it?
No, she pretty much said everything, and I agree totally with her. We do not ever advise for anyone to share medicines amongst each other, even if it's your closest family member, because how you get to be prescribed certain medicine is based on how you present clinically, and it could be different from one person to another. So we advise that you don't do that. It's only safe that you do not do so.
All right. And then while we're on that, Rabelani, tell me now here, to what extent that I should rely on my, first aid kit or that cabinet at home? Let's say, for example, let me not actually elaborate to you. How to what extent should I rely on it?
It's very, very personal. I think I had also elaborated a bit earlier that sometimes you know there are certain conditions which could be related to specific seasons somehow. So it depends at the time, obviously, when. So if maybe it's a certain season that you normally get sick of a certain condition, then you can rely on it to a greater extent. But then also if it's not so presenting at a specific season, then you don't really have to. So it's dependent. It's not really standard. And also from one person to another, it will differ as well. So it's personal to a great extent. I can just say that as well.
Yeah. Now let's say I have a headache. It's Sunday during the day. Then I take my Panado. Do I, somewhere I beat the doctor to myself, or is still there a need for me to go and consult after, diagnose myself, and treat myself?
There's obviously conditions or problems that could be treated over the counter. Obviously, if you have got a headache, you are sure that my head is aching. That's when you go to the pharmacy, buy your Panado, for example, and then you come, you take it. And you will realize that whenever we give such medicines, we will tell you take when necessary. So yes, if a pain or a headache prevails some other time later, you can always take it as well. But also we will advise you or tell you that should it persist for maybe longer than 3 to 5 days, you are required to consult with a doctor, because maybe it's due to an underlying condition. So but on a general basis, for painkillers, just to be also specific on that as well, you need to take whenever necessary.
Okay. And then now we have this situation now here, and this is for me, I find it to be problematic, especially when somebody want the medication somewhere, like somebody go and consult and then they want the medication and they cannot find it. Now at home I've got a stockpile, I've got a lot, because whenever I sick report they give me Panado, I come and store at home. Now before we come to the issue of how people should store the medication, or in combination with that, what advice can you give people in terms of this issue of stockpiling and how people should store the medication, or actually handling the medication from the point of receiving? Let me start with you.
Okay. The minute the medication leaves the pharmacy, it is your responsibility. When it's in the pharmacy, we will ensure that it is packed according to all the storage conditions that is required. But once it leaves to your house, it's your responsibility. So when you are at your own house, it is important that you check your expiry dates on the medication before you drink them. Because like you said, you might be coming, you have Panado, next time you come it's Panado. Now you have piles and piles of Panado. And maybe you are in an emergency situation and you need to take your Panado. So it is important to check your expiry date before you drink the medication that you have at home. It is also important to make sure that you store the medications in dry and cool conditions. I would also advise that you don't have to put medications in areas such as your bathroom, because as you know, the bathroom is very humid. Yeah, so you must avoid storing medication inside your bathrooms. Also in the kitchen, where next to your stoves, you shouldn't store medication that in such places. One thing that you'll also notice on the medication, it's true, we can say these medications are not expired, so I should drink it. But sometimes you might find that throughout the whole handling of the medication, you were not doing it the right way. And when you open the medicine inside, you find that it changed color. So that should also give you an alarm. I mean, if someone was to walk into a grocery shop and buy an expired loaf of bread, you won't have to think twice about eating the bread. You will be very angry and take it back to the supermarket where you bought the bread. So why don't we do the same for the medications that we have in our cupboard that are expired? Why are we compromising on medications, and it's one thing that we shouldn't do. So yeah, that is my advice on the storage of medications in our homes.
Rabela?
Yes.
Yeah, what's your view on what's your say on the issue of the handling of the medication from the point of receiving and then until the storage and the handling at home?
Well, she pretty much said also what I would say as well. Say it's your responsibility. The moment the pharmacist or any other healthcare professional hands over the medication to you, you are duly responsible to ensure that you store it well, and then you ensure that you take it also within the time before it actually expires. Because obviously, once it expires, the safety, the efficacy of it is compromised. So I think it's a personal responsibility that after a while, you open your cupboard, you check your medicine. Oh, I still have Panado. Oh, it's gonna expire whenever. Then I can't use it then. And also very important to say that when you can see that something is expiring sooner, and you have not been using it as much often, or maybe it has actually expired, you don't just discard it. You have to take it to your nearest pharmacy or clinic, because there are certain ways of discarding such medicine.
Okay. And then, while you were talking about the issue of that once the medication leaves the pharmacy, it's my responsibility. Now, what about these people that they are forever on the road, like myself, sometimes I am always on the road. And then now you find that, what do you call this thing? You find that I keep my medication at in the car, and sometimes it's very hot, and then you know, what advice you can give the truck drivers and the other people? I mean, those people really, they must always be on the road, and the car, the temperature, then the stuff. How can they handle the medication then?
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. Well, considering that medicines on a general basis, your tablets, not only that, there's the specific ways of storing specific medicine. But
Yeah.
just to maybe be more elaborative on that, most medicines are supposed to be stored at room temperature, which is
Yeah.
normally less than 25 degrees Celsius. There
Yeah.
are certain medicines, however, which are supposed to be stored on the fridge, but that's usually mostly chronic medicines, your insulin for diabetic patients and all of that. Where in a case where such a person is traveling, for example, and they are aware that they are of such problems, in a case where, let me say, you know you are diabetic and you're relying on insulin, it is advised that you keep your medicine either in a cooler bag that is suitable for the size of your medicine, or also in a smaller cooler box as well, just to keep the medicine safe for use. You know, yeah, but generally, other medicines should normally be kept in room temperature, which is less than 25 degrees Celsius to maintain the safety.
Okay. We're gonna take you know, we're gonna go and sell it now, and after selling, I'm gonna throw a few questions on you guys. And this one, you know, I hope you guys, you did unprepared speech at school, you know. Yeah, because now you already exhaust a couple of things that we were gonna treat them after the after our advert here. So now I'm gonna be going general. I still have got a few minutes with you guys here. Yes, sir. Welcome back. Welcome back. You are still chilling with Rofhiwa here. Today we are, you know, we are busy, you know, analyzing and advising and digesting this pharmacy issue. Now, before actually I can maybe you know, go wolol or nditwendis chabuya. Now we are in pharmacy month, ne?
Yes.
Month. Mwezi wa pharmacy. English sometimes, you know, the pronunciation sometimes it does its own thing. Rabelani, what can you tell my viewers regarding this month of pharmacy? You know, now you are free, you are at liberty to, yeah, you know, advise them in anything.
Okay. Pharmacy month, which is September, is basically a month where we are out there to give awareness about pharmacy in general, about medicine in general, and custodians of medicine, just to give the information to the public about the medicine's use and everything associated with such. I think that the theme for this year is your pharmacy is here for your health, and there's all of other subtitles as well under that, which I can't always remember, but it basically revolves around a pharmacist being there for your health to provide you with information regarding your health and medicine in general. Yeah. But over and above all, it's a month we provide awareness about pharmacy for public knowledge.
Okay. Now, this thing, you know, there's authorized drugs, Rabelani, and there's this unauthorized drugs. So, what can you advise people on these drugs that we got a lot of pharmacists on the street there, you know? Some they give the wunga and the stuff. So, what advice can you give to the, you know, to the patient that, you know, they are in a certain medication and then they're also taking these other unauthorized drugs?
Okay, I actually wonder if it's really pharmacists who give such unauthorized drugs because I mean we are trained to provide information and provide medicines for the well-being of the patient. It's part of our oath as pharmacists, you know. But on a general basis, you already said it's unauthorized drugs. That means it's not legal, it's not approved for safety of use, and like any other illegal thing, could tamper with whatever that you're already taking. Should you be on any chronic conditions, depending which one, there could be associated interactions which could bring about detrimental effects. So I do not. I will never advise for anyone to take illegal drugs. You should take medicines which are either prescribed for you by a medical professional, wherein a pharmacist will provide professional knowledge on the usage of such, or wherein a pharmacist, if let's say it's over-the-counter medicine, provides you with such information on how to use and all the safety aspects related to such.
Amanda.
Yeah.
Over-the-counter medication, ne? Just give us a bit of knowledge or why other medications are over-the-counter and one other one they need a prescription.
Okay, so like you said, we have different medications. We have the over-the-counter medications and those that need a prescription before you take them from the pharmacy. So your over-the-counter medications are those for common conditions, like we've been talking about the seasonal conditions. Those ones are you can just come and say, I'm coughing and feeling this way and that way, and then we can decide to give you according to the information that you are giving us on the medication. So the over-the-counter medications are mostly your Schedule 0 to Schedule 2s, and then because they're not addictive drugs, to say, whereas the other 3 to 6, most people abuse them, so we cannot just give them over the counter. You need a specialist to actually check you, or a doctor, before we can give it to you, because most people just come and take medications in the pharmacy without the consent, and you can just move from one pharmacy to another because you are trying to cope with something from that drug. So yeah, that is why some medications you can't just walk and demand. There are certain procedures that need to be followed before you get those medications.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Rabelani, this thing that I used to hear when they were saying I was prescribed, let's say, paracetamol. Then I hear that they say, no, we don't have paracetamol, but we can give you this. And you find some people, they become uncomfortable. I mean, the doctor said I must get this. Why now I'm getting this other one? What can you advise those people, and then in terms of, so that they must understand prior to even to reach there, so that they,
Yeah, it's a very, I like your question so much because I think people need to understand the concept of generic substitution. So basically, like you said, the doctor would write a specific brand of a medicine, let's say for example, Panado. You would know that Panado contains paracetamol. But when you come to me as a pharmacist, I tell you, no, I don't actually have Panado, I have Painamol. But they both contain paracetamol. Yeah, so that's where we get a little bit of a fight with patients. But the doctor said, now you said I must do this. Let me put it out there to say a patient can legally refuse to get a generic medicine or a different kind of a medicine. But just to give knowledge out there, there is no difference. The active ingredient, which elicits pharmacological effect, is still the same. It's just a different company. Let's say Amanda's company, which manufactured Panado, and Rabia's company manufactured Painamol with the same ingredient, doing exactly the same thing. But because we cannot name them the same name, rather, the name should be different in such a manner. So it's a concept of generic substitution. It applies to a lot of other medicines as well. And also, these are also influenced by marketing reasons as well. Different companies, different brands, and all of that. But I can assure you there's no difference. The topic goes a bit deeper as well. I don't know if you want me to explain, but it's more pharmaceutical topic.
Please explain. Yeah.
Just to say.
No, please explain for the.
Okay, what happens is that the original company, for example, Amanda's company, which came up with an idea of Panado as a painkiller, you would realize that the process of coming up with a medicine goes through the research and development, the testing to see if this thing that is being deemed to cure pain, if it really does cure the pain, the monitoring of side effects and all of that. So you would realize that the company, Amanda's company, spent so much money in discovering that, as the original company. But now, according to pharmaceutical laws, after Amanda's company has fully discovered that medicine, let's say Panado in this case, and has been approved for sale of such, they are allowed to sell it for a period of 20 years. We call it a patent period. And then after that 20 years, the 20 years period, just to explain, is so that the company itself can benefit from the medicine that they initially discovered and got approved for a specific condition. Do you understand? And then now that because there are other different companies as well, this company which also wants to make money, we approach Amanda's company to say, hey Amanda, we would like to manufacture Panado or paracetamol in this case. That's where Amanda's company was selling me what we call a dossier. It's basically like a receipt on the manufacturing of Panado. But you realize that my company in this case doesn't have to go through the research and development because everything is already there, just ready to be manufactured and be sold in the market. That is when I will take that recipe and then I will manufacture the medicine. And then because now it is my own that I manufactured, although from the original recipe of Amanda, I will not name it Panado for marketing reasons. I will name it Dynamo in that manner, just or Rabelani, just so that you don't have the same thing. Also for marketing reasons as well. So that's just the pharmaceutical process behind it. But you can see it's exactly the same recipe that Rabe used to manufacture paracetamol, which Amanda used, although Amanda had to go through the extended process of research and development. So it doesn't make any difference at all.
Okay. No, I'm happy and I believe this will be also much helpful for somebody else out there. Amanda.
Yes.
The danger of keeping too much medication at home, please. Yeah, the danger of keeping too much medication at home.
The danger of keeping too many medications at home could be, like I said, we were talking about medications expiring. Those medications could expire on you. And also, although this is a sensitive topic on its own, but we have people who might abuse medications or those who are going through depression and they end up committing suicide through medications. I think it's also caused by having too many medications inside the house as well, because now you're going through a depression phase in your life, and just because the medications are readily available, you feel like it's the quickest way to take your life. So having too many medications in your house, it's not something I could recommend. Just have enough for in terms of emergencies, like we've been talking. So yeah.
All right. Ke kopa re rekise ka mo ke nyoreile lastly with Rofhiwa here, chill is the session. We are dealing with your responsibility in terms of the medication after the break. Yeah, it's Heritage Month, so, we who are from the other side of the country, we are selling mashonja for you here, you can have some and enjoy and celebrate your Heritage Month, with those, traditional meal, yeah, if you're from Zimbabwe there, Botswana, Limpopo, yeah, come and get some. All right, I think we're gonna wind down our session today. And what I'm gonna do here, yeah, I'm gonna ask if I will remember something, because you already highlighted the issue of the how members should discard their medication. Of which, let me remind you that you must not just throw your medication in the dustbin. If possible, take your medication to your nearest pharmacy. Then they will get rid of it. Keep your medication away from the kids. And then they must not be stored in the direct sunlight, so that they can remain useful. Rabelani, your chance now to say anything you wanna say in terms of this topic of today, in closure.
Okay, what I can say is just to encourage the public and everyone that pharmacists are there to provide any information regarding the use of medicine. So should you be unsure about any aspect relating to such, you are allowed to visit your nearest pharmacy. I think the most interesting thing is that we don't charge for most of our information that we give as yet. So you are allowed to really just walk into any nearest pharmacy and then just ask anything that you don't understand. Until you realize medicine could be dangerous, should they be misused in any manner. So we advise that go to the nearest pharmacy. It could also be the nearest hospital pharmacy, where you can just walk in a hospital with whatever type of medicine to say, this guys, how do I use it, and how can I ensure that it is properly stored. We are there to provide such information, hence we are the custodians of medicine. So please ask if you don't understand, for the safety of your health as well.
All right, Amanda, you say.
I would just like to say your medications are your responsibility. So let us be responsible citizens. As much as we have the right to health care, we also have the responsibility to do the right thing with the medications that we receive. So my advice will be, think pharmacy. Whatever questions you have, like Rabelani has already said, just think about your pharmacist. Don't try to Google anything on the internet. We know you have free Wi-Fi wherever you are, but go ask your free pharmacist, like Rabelani has already elaborated. So yeah, my advice would be, let us be responsible citizens. Let us store our medications the right way. Let us avoid sharing medications with other patients. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to say thank you very much, Rabelani, for your input. And then we look forward to engage in the nearest future. And then thank you again, Amanda.
It's a pleasure.
And then I hope our people there, you heard our pharmacists and you're going to do the right thing. And then your host, Rofhiwa, chills the session, Book on Online Television. Catch us on our Facebook page, Book on Online Television, and then also on our YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Support us. That like, that share, that subscribing will go a long way to be of use to the community, will be of a value to a community, empowering and entertaining, anything that goes with, our platform. So your support will be highly and much appreciated. And then I say good night.